Let us begin with the truth. Happiness is not a miracle. It is not a gift bestowed upon the lucky few. It is not a feeling that visits you only when circumstances align in your favor. No. Happiness is a state of consciousness, a decision of the mind, and a product of spiritual and mental discipline. It is something you must create, not something you wait for. And here's the great secret. You can be happy every single day, no matter what. No matter the storm around you. No matter the failures in your past. No matter the confusion in your present. Because happiness is not determined by what happens outside of you. It is determined by how you think about what happens. The man who understands this will never again be a slave to circumstance. He will no longer tie his joy to the behavior of others, to the conditions of the market, or to the ticking of the clock. He becomes free. He becomes dangerous, because now his power is internal, unshakable, immovable, built on truth. You may ask, but how, Mr. Hill? How can I feel joy when the bills are stacking, when the people I trusted turned against me, when nothing seems to be working? And I tell you, this is when happiness matters most. If your peace can only exist in the absence of problems, then it is not peace at all. It is dependency. But if you can find happiness while walking through the fire, if you can master your emotional state in the middle of the storm, then you are truly rich, because external riches come and go. But a rich mind that is forever. Let me offer you the foundational law that governs this. What you focus on expands. Your attention is the currency of your life. Wherever you spend it, that area multiplies. If you focus on fear, it grows. If you focus on loss, it grows. If you focus on injustice, it grows. But if you focus on what is good, what is possible, what is still within your control, then that will grow. This is not theory. This is universal law. You do not need perfect circumstances to be happy. What you need is perfect focus. You must become a master of directing your attention toward that which strengthens you, lifts you, and ignites your spirit. Do not misunderstand me. I am not asking you to pretend that everything is perfect. I am asking you to realize that even when it is not, you are still in command of your mind. I have sat with men who lost fortunes and still smiled. I have spoken with leaders who were betrayed by those closest to them and still walked forward with peace. Why? Because they had trained themselves not to be ruled by what is temporary. And so can you. Happiness is not something to chase. Chasing implies it is somewhere else, out of reach. But happiness is not somewhere else. It is already within you, waiting to be activated. But it will not activate itself. It must be called forth daily with intention. And that is where most people fail. They wait to feel good. They wait for good news. They wait for the perfect day, the perfect opportunity, the perfect amount of money, the perfect affirmation from others. And while they wait, life passes them by. But you must choose differently. You must decide that happiness is your daily discipline. Start your day with gratitude, not for what you lack, but for what remains. You woke up this morning. That is not guaranteed. Your mind still works. That is not guaranteed. You still have the ability to grow, to think, to create. That is not guaranteed. But it is yours. And that means you already have everything you need to create joy. When you wake up, before the world tries to tell you who you are, tell yourself, plant thoughts of power, of purpose, of promise. Say out loud, today I direct my mind. Today I shape my attitude. Today I claim happiness not as a feeling, but as a fact. And as the day unfolds, life will test you. That is inevitable. People will disappoint you. Plans will go sideways. Things will not go according to your script. But that's the point. Because happiness is not built in the easy moments, it is forged in the trials. That's where you build the muscle. That's where you prove to the world and to yourself that nothing outside you is stronger than what's inside you. Now let us go deeper. Another enemy of happiness is resentment. You cannot carry resentment and expect joy to coexist. They are not compatible frequencies. You must forgive not because they deserve it, but because you do. Holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. So free yourself. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is wisdom. It says, I will not allow this pain to define my future. It says, I will not replay this story one more day. It says, I choose my peace over my pride. And here is a powerful truth. The moment you forgive, you reclaim your energy. That energy can now be used for building, for growing, for living, for creating a new future that is not colored by an old wound. Now let's speak about another force that threatens happiness, impatience. So many people are unhappy simply because they are not where they thought they would be. They measure their timeline against artificial deadlines, and when life takes longer than expected, they panic. Hear me now. Delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet does not mean it never will. Life moves according to divine timing. And sometimes the delay is not punishment, it is preparation. You are not behind. You are becoming. Trust that. If you are working, learning, growing, refining, then you are exactly where you need to be. Happiness is destroyed when you compare your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. Don't do that. Your path is sacred. Your journey is customized. The only person you need to be better than is the version of you from yesterday. And if you've done that, even by an inch, then you're winning. Understand also that happiness is not found in doing everything. It's found in doing the right things. Simplify your life. Too many people say yes to everything and then wonder why they feel overwhelmed and anxious. Protect your time. Protect your energy. Protect your attention. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you say no to what matters. Choose wisely. Build your days around your purpose, not your distractions. Now, let us address one more truth. You must stop tying your happiness to achievement. Too many people believe they'll be happy when they get the promotion, when they get the house, when they get the partner, when the debt is gone, and then they achieve it and still feel empty. Because happiness was never in the goal. It was always in the growth. If you are growing, you can be happy right now. If you are aligned with your purpose, you can be at peace right now. If you are operating with integrity, you can walk in joy right now. Nothing else is needed. The man who builds joy on things he cannot control will always be fragile. But the man who builds it on principles, on faith, on gratitude, on discipline, on purpose, that man is untouchable. Let the winds blow. Let the seasons change. Let the applause fade. He remains steady because his happiness is not rented, it is owned. That is what I want for you. To become unshakable, to become steady in the storm, to smile even when it rains, to find light even in the dark, to say, I do not need everything to be perfect because I have trained my mind to find joy anyway. And that, my friend, is how you become truly powerful. That is how you become magnetic. That is how you walk into every room with peace on your face and fire in your soul. Because you've made happiness your responsibility. Not the world's, not anyone else's, yours. And when you do that, everything changes. If you want to be happy every day, you must stop surrendering your peace to people who haven't earned the right to shape your thoughts. The truth is, most people walk around with wounded minds, projecting their dissatisfaction, their criticism, their negativity. And if you are not vigilant, you will absorb it, and that will poison your happiness. Guard your mental environment like a fortress. Just as you wouldn't invite a thief into your home, don't invite toxic thoughts into your mind. Don't entertain gossip, fear-mongering, or pity parties disguised as friendship. What you permit, you promote. And what you tolerate, you teach your subconscious to accept. You must decide once and for all, I will no longer allow anyone or anything to rent space in my mind for free. That space is sacred. That space is creative. That space is your launching pad for every achievement you'll ever build. Do not pollute it with noise. Now listen closely. Happiness is also a matter of discipline. You cannot expect to feel fulfilled if you're living without structure. You cannot experience joy if your life is ruled by impulse and chaos. Happiness does not come from being lazy. It comes from being aligned. Structure creates freedom. When you wake up with intention, when you know what your priorities are, when you execute on the most important tasks instead of chasing every shiny distraction, you earn a sense of peace. Not because the day was easy, but because you were purposeful. And purpose always leads to joy. You must learn to train your emotions instead of being trained by them. Emotions are messengers, not masters. They show up to inform you, not to lead you. A man who is led by his feelings will never be consistent. He will rise and fall with his moods, and if your happiness depends on your mood, then it will always be hostage to circumstance. Instead, build habits that generate joy regardless of how you feel. Read something empowering. Move your body. Speak affirmations. Pray. Visualize your future. Get into a state of gratitude. These are not luxuries, they are necessities. They are the fuel of your emotional engine. And if you say, but I don't feel like it, then that is exactly why you must do it. Because the act of showing up despite your feelings, that's what builds mental toughness. And mental toughness creates emotional freedom. Another key to happiness: release the need to be understood by everyone. You will never have peace if you are addicted to external approval. There will always be someone who doesn't get you, someone who doubts you, someone who mocks your dreams or misinterprets your intentions. Let them. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be authentic. And the day you stop needing permission is the day you start experiencing true joy. When you realize that your worth is not up for negotiation, that your vision does not require validation, and that your peace does not depend on applause, you become free. And that freedom births happiness. Now, let me speak directly to your spirit. There is a version of you waiting to be born, a version that is not reactive, not restless, not ruled by insecurity. That version of you is calm. That version is centered. That version is rooted in principles, not opinions. To meet that version, you must stop feeding the old one. Stop rehearsing old stories. Stop replaying your mistakes. Stop reliving the pain. Stop identifying with who you used to be. Start building the new identity, one thought, one belief, one habit at a time. Say to yourself, I am no longer a victim of my past. I am the architect of my present, and I am the author of my future. Your identity must not be built on trauma, it must be built on truth. And the truth is this: you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not unworthy. You are in process, and that process, when embraced, leads to power. Happiness increases when you accept the season you're in without judgment. If it's a season of planting, then plant. If it's a season of pruning, then release. If it's a season of waiting, then wait with faith. Every season serves a purpose. You lose happiness when you resist what is. Peace comes not from changing your entire life in one moment, but from accepting this moment exactly as it is while holding the intention to shape the next one. Now let me ask you a simple question. Are you living consciously, or are you just reacting? The man who reacts is always stressed, always rushed, always behind, always triggered. always lost in the noise of others' expectations. But the man who lives consciously, he is grounded. He pauses before speaking. He considers before acting. He lives by design, not by default. And that design includes happiness as a non-negotiable. Make this your mantra. I am not available for drama. I am not available for anxiety. I am not available for emotional chaos. I am available for peace, for clarity, for joy. Say it again and again until it becomes who you are. Do not underestimate the power of repetition. You have been conditioned for years to believe that happiness is elusive, that it comes from success, from fame, from status. But I tell you, it comes from mastery. Mastery of your mind. And just like a muscle, mastery is built through practice. You don't wake up one day with the perfect attitude. You build it. Through failure, through discomfort, through self-awareness, through correction, through grace. Every day is a new opportunity to reset, to redirect your focus, to return to your power. Happiness is not a one-time event. It is the result of a philosophy applied daily. And the philosophy is this: nothing is more important than my internal state. I will protect it like a fortress. I will feed it like a garden. I will defend it like a kingdom. And I will never again surrender it to chaos. You are powerful when you make this choice. When you stop saying, I hope today goes well, and start saying, no matter what happens today, I go well. That is happiness. It is not something you find. It is something you generate. You are the source. You are the switch. You are the spark. And when you realize that, nothing can dim you again. Not failure, not heartbreak, not disappointment, not delay. Because your light no longer depends on what's outside, it burns from within. So breathe, smile, center yourself in that truth, and walk through this world as if you are already whole, because you are. The greatest illusion you must overcome is the idea that happiness lies somewhere outside of you, hidden in the approval of others, tucked inside material accomplishments, or resting in some distant future where everything finally falls into place. That illusion is the thief of your present peace. Happiness does not wait for the perfect relationship, the ideal job, or the absence of struggle. It exists right now within your capacity to choose your thoughts. It is not a destination. It is a decision. And it is a decision that must be made over and over again, especially when circumstances seem to argue against it. Understand this. Your mind is a fertile field. Whatever seed you plant will grow. If you plant seeds of fear, resentment, worry, you will harvest anxiety, bitterness, and regret. But if you plant seeds of gratitude, faith, purpose, and joy, then your life will yield a harvest of happiness regardless of the weather. What are you planting today? The man who does not control his thoughts cannot control his destiny. And the man who does not control his destiny cannot claim joy. Because joy is not merely a feeling. It is the result of spiritual alignment, alignment with truth, alignment with purpose, alignment with who you were created to be. To be happy every day, you must begin with reverence for the day itself. Stop racing through the morning. Stop opening your phone before opening your soul. Stop checking the opinions of others before checking in with yourself. Instead, begin with silence. Begin with intention. Begin with the question, who do I choose to be today? Not what will I do, not what will I earn, but who will I be? Will I be kind when it's easier to be cold? Will I be calm when chaos swirls around me? Will I be faithful when logic tells me to quit? You are never more powerful than in the moment you decide your inner state will not be dictated by the external world. And that power, that's where happiness lives. Now let us speak plainly. You will not always feel happy, but you can always choose happiness. There will be moments of grief, moments of loss, moments of uncertainty, But those moments do not own you. They're guests, not landlords. You are allowed to feel everything, but you are not required to build a home there. Do not let temporary emotions shape your permanent identity. You are not your sadness. You are not your anger. You are not your past. You are the thinker behind the thought. You are the witness behind the feeling. And once you understand this, nothing can steal your happiness without your consent. Another principle to embrace: comparison is the cancer of joy. The moment you measure your life against another's, you forfeit your own truth. You forget your progress. You minimize your growth, and you exchange peace for pressure. Happiness cannot exist where comparison rules. Stop wasting time. Stop chasing timelines that were never meant for you. Your journey is sacred. Your pace is perfect. You are not late. You are not lacking. You are not less than. You are in alignment with divine timing. Say this aloud: I do not chase what's not mine. I do not envy what's not aligned. I trust the process. I celebrate my path. Now, listen carefully. Gratitude is the gateway drug to joy. It is impossible to be anxious and grateful at the same time. When your heart is full of thanks, your mind cannot dwell in lack. If you want to elevate your emotions, elevate your awareness of what is already good, every morning name 5 things. 5 reasons to smile. 5 people you love. 5 memories that made you laugh. 5 moments that proved you are still being guided. Do this daily, and your brain will rewire itself for joy. Your nervous system will relax. Your energy will lift. Your frequency will rise. And your life will begin to mirror the beauty of your thoughts. Happiness is not elusive. It is conditioned. You must train your spirit to return to joy like a muscle returns to strength after resistance. And yes, it takes effort, but the reward is liberation. And once you are free inside, nothing outside can trap you. You'll begin to notice a shift. You'll speak slower, breathe deeper, worry less, laugh more. You'll find beauty in the mundane. You'll appreciate silence. You'll stop reacting and start responding. You'll stop chasing and start receiving. This is not theory. This is transformation. This is the power of a disciplined mind. And I must tell you one final truth. Joy multiplies when shared. When you become a source of light for others, your own happiness deepens, not because you seek validation, but because giving aligns you with your highest self. Speak life into those around you. Lift others when you feel low. Offer kindness without agenda. Be the reason someone believes the world is still good. And suddenly you realize happiness has become your default state. Not because everything went right, but because you did. You made the decision. You showed up for yourself. You mastered your mind. You chose peace over pressure, faith over fear, love over control. And that, my friend, is the secret to happiness. It is not a destination you arrive at. It is a discipline you live from every day, no matter what. Happiness is not the reward for perfection. It is the reward for presence, for waking up each day and choosing to meet life with eyes wide open no matter what it brings. If you have followed this path of truth with me thus far, then you understand by now. Happiness is not found in the absence of challenge, but in the mastery of your inner response to it. And that response is forged by the choices you make every single day, especially when no one is watching. Let me make something abundantly clear. Every man has the ability to choose happiness, even in the darkest hour. But most will not. Why? Because happiness demands responsibility. And responsibility is the one thing the masses run from. To be happy every day is to take full ownership of your attitude, your thoughts, your reactions, and your habits. It means no longer blaming the economy, the government, your past, your parents, your relationships, or your environment. It means standing tall and declaring, "My joy is mine, and I will not delegate it." If your happiness can be taken away by someone else's opinion, by a missed opportunity, by a temporary loss, then it was never yours to begin with. True joy is not circumstantial. It is spiritual. And let us not confuse happiness with high energy. You do not have to bounce off walls or beam with cheer to be joyful. Happiness is peace. It is stillness in the soul. It is a quiet confidence that says, no matter what happens today, I will remain anchored in gratitude and vision. So now we come to a sacred practice, one that I have found essential in cultivating daily joy: definiteness of purpose. When a man knows why he wakes up, when he has a mission greater than himself, his life becomes infused with meaning. And meaning creates joy that no paycheck, no title, and no applause can match. So ask yourself, what are you moving toward? What are you building? What legacy are you creating? If you do not know, then you will drift. And the drifter is never happy. He wanders. He wonders. He waits, but he never decides. And without decision, there can be no joy. Because joy is found in progress. Even the smallest forward motion fuels happiness, so long as it is rooted in purpose. If you are waiting for everything to feel perfect before you act, you are already losing. You must act from where you are, with what you have. And when your action aligns with your purpose, happiness will follow you like a shadow. Let me also remind you of the law of cosmic habit force. It is this: what you do repeatedly becomes who you are. If you repeat misery, you become miserable. If you repeat gratitude, you become joyful. If you repeat complaint, you become bitter. If you repeat forgiveness, you become free. So what are you repeating today? The key to becoming a person who is happy every day is to make happiness your default habit, not an exception, not a reward, but a habit. How? You do it by training your focus. Your life follows your focus. If you wake up and look for reasons to be tired, irritated, or frustrated, you will find them. But if you wake up and train your focus to see opportunity, to seek growth, to find beauty, then joy will become a natural byproduct of your attention. Every day you must remind yourself, I am in control of my mind. My mind is not in control of me. And you must build the discipline to redirect your thoughts like a man pulling a wild horse into alignment. You say, but the world is filled with chaos. Yes, and? You say, but I have bills, stress, loss. Yes, and? None of those things have the authority to steal your joy unless you hand it to them. You are more powerful than your circumstance, but that power is only activated when you believe it and behave like it. So let me give you a final framework to live by. 3 habits. Simple, repeatable, life-changing. First, reclaim your morning. Do not begin your day with noise. Begin it with intention. No phone, no social media, no headlines. Begin with silence, with breath,